Welcome to the Town of Munster podcast, coming to you from the JED TV studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. Now here's your host.
We are the Town of Munster show, and I have a guest with me. I have Ms. Wendy Miss, who is our clerk treasurer.
Hey, good morning, Dave. How are you?
Hey, we're doing good, Wendy.
Good. Nice to see you out and about on this chilly day.
Yes, and I noticed the traffic is pretty light also. There's not a lot of cars out. And I understand the students at the high school and all the schools in Munster are on e-learning.
Yep, e-learning today with a 2-hour delay, right?
Yes.
So they get to sleep in a little.
And, we just finished up last night with a town council meeting.
Yep.
And I want to say that President Schinken is moving those meetings right along. I think this was also another less than 20 minutes.
It was a very quick meeting, yes.
Although we didn't have anything really controversial on the agenda.
We did not. It was business, as it was the normal operations of town business.
And a lot of housekeeping and cleaning and stuff. I do want to mention that we did have a vote of the council, and we were pondering as to the deputy chief in the police department.
Okay.
And the motion came up for Damon Johnston to be named as deputy chief. Our clerk treasurer here pulled the roll call, called the roll, and he was selected, voted, and is now our deputy chief.
Very exciting. He's been a long-time Munster police officer, and he'll do well in the role.
Absolutely. Very well experienced. And it does give us that position so that if for any reason that our chief, Steve Shekel, is unavailable out of town on vacation, that we have someone that's in the role to make the decisions and help keep things going along. And we still have Lieutenant Dan Brohlman, who does a great job.
Yep.
And they're talking about adding a lieutenant somewhere down the road when we have an adequate staff and get some additional hires in.
Well, are we going to backfill Lieutenant Johnston, Deputy Chief Johnston's role? So
yes.
Then we'll have 2 lieutenants again.
2 lieutenants.
A deputy, 2 lieutenants, and then 8, I believe, 6 or 8 sergeants. 8.
Right, and I'm suspecting that a sergeant will come up to be the lieutenant, and then we'll bring a sergeant up to fill there, so we have this backfilling.
Yes.
And
we've already done that with 2 promotions for Officer Greist, who's now Sergeant Greist, and is it Sergeant Ashcraft as well that got promoted at the same time Officer Greist did? Who's no longer Officer Greist, Sergeant Greist?
Sergeant Greist. I'm not 100% sure on that, but you get to see all the paperwork and everything.
I think it was Officer Ashcraft is who made the move up to Sergeant.
So that's a good segue with your office doing the paperwork, and I was going to ask you if you could give us a brief rundown as to just what goes on in the clerk treasurer's office, because treasurer sounds like money.
It does sound like money, and that's primarily what we do. When you walk into the clerk treasurer's office, you're greeted by one of 2 women who are our deputy clerks. They take water bill payments. They take, if a contractor needs to register in the town, just about all the money that comes into the town comes through the clerk treasurer's office. You have a dog or a cat, you're allowed up to 3. You can register them. This is that time of year to get your dogs
licenses.
to get your pet license. There's information online about how to get that done. But those women are our front face, the front door there. So we've got the 2 women that work the front counter.
And I found them to be very nice, very pleasant.
They are nice.
And they process things and they try to get answers. Well, they try to give answers. And if for some reason they don't know, they'll refer to you or Miss Abbott or whoever's responsible for that to help get.
Exactly. And one of the things we do in our department is we do have weekly meetings, and then we meet the Tuesday after every council meeting as a department, and we do that to keep everybody informed on what's going on, because it's not uncommon for a resident to come in and ask a question, and if we explain to them, well, at the town council meeting we did XYZ, they'll have that knowledge in advance and be able to more easily answer the questions. So we try to keep everybody abreast of what's going on. So we've got 2 deputy clerks that work the front counter. We've got a water utility clerk, and she is responsible if there's any questions about your water bill or your water usage, and I say water, but it's water, trash, sewer, it's all rolled into one. It should be a utility bill. So if you have any questions about that woman does an outstanding job. She's done it for many years and has lots of answers. If you've had a water leak and you need an adjustment, you all go through her. The number, if anybody needs to call it, is 219-836-6948, and she can take care of you. Then in the back office, we have the people that, just do the work. They pay the bills, they do the payroll, they make sure we reconcile everything every day, so all the cash that comes in gets reconciled. We've added a couple people in the last year. We've added a new bookkeeper. And she's been doing a good job. A lot of what we want to do is succession training and cross training. So much like the police has done, if somebody is out or retires or leaves, we're able to fill that right away, and we're not left with, oh no, how do we pay these bills? We're really working hard to try and make all of that as seamless and effortless.
Because you do have employees that go on vacation, right?
Yes, we do let them go on vacation. They are allowed to leave the office. We let them out, and that's a good thing. And we encourage them. And that's, an internal controls thing. We want them to take vacation. Right.
So then you have someone that can fill in.
Yep.
And so that you don't miss a beat.
Absolutely.
And the money doesn't just stack up.
And we're statutorily not allowed to let the money stack up. So we have to, as soon as we get it, we have 24 hours to process that money. So we're not sitting on it in the office at all. And that brings us, I think, Mr. Nellens recently came into our office, and we have a bank vault in our office.
Oh, it's huge. It's got these big levers and slides, yes, and a wheel.
Exactly. It's pretty exciting in there, and I have to admit it probably holds about $500 cash. That's about it.
Oh, wow.
I know, you're pretty disappointed. I think he was expecting to see all the gold bars in there.
Gold bars and silver and the greenback stacked up all over.
No. So you actually, your imagination took you one direction, and then one day we let you in the vault, which is kind of a special thing. We don't let just anyone go in the vault. And we kind of are joking.
Miss Janet took me in.
Yes. Well, I was going to say, we joke about it, but we don't let anyone that's outside of our office in the vault without an escort. And so we stay with you. There are times that people need to look up old minutes, and we either, we're with you. There's someone with you all the time. Because what did you see in the vault? You did not see gold and silver or stacks of cash. What did you see?
Stacks and stacks and lineup of books that contain minutes. Mm-hmm. In fact, I believe we were back all the way to 1907.
I think we go back that far as well.
And they're handwritten in ink.
Yes. They're hardly legible, to tell you the truth, because although I can read cursive, they are just, they've faded over the years. And now that's an important part of the clerk part of my job is, making sure anything that goes in there now, we use archival quality ink so that they won't fade or blend or blur or whatever. We want to try and preserve those records going forward.
Back in 1907, they didn't have that.
No, they did not. They couldn't call the office supply store.
They probably had that pen that you dipped in the ink and
possibly
inkwell and wrote it out. And the resolutions and things were in the book, and they're stamped and signed. And
there's quite a process. So anytime there's a new ordinance or a new resolution, we send, it's got the pages are all are numbered, and if there's a mistake made, we've got to make a note as to why they're not it happens very infrequently, but when they do, you'll sometimes see, this page was accidentally put in the wrong book and that's why it's out of sequence. I mean, there's a lot of checks and balances to make sure that we preserve the records of the town in perpetuity, and there are rules and regulations on how long we have to keep things, and a lot of our records have to be kept forever. So it's fun. So the vault is in there, and it's full of paper.
And I was kind of thinking, is there a way I could kind of put a wedge in there so that I could come back later on and take a look? But
no.
It
seals up tight. We open it in the first thing in the morning at the clerk treasurer's office. There's staff there at 7 in the morning, and we're there until 5 at night. Now the actual office is open. We need time to prep and all, but the office is open 7:30 to 4:30. And
you have a late evening, don't you?
No, we do not. We stopped that during COVID.
Okay.
We used to be open late one night, yes, and we found one or two people used it perhaps once or twice a month, and it wasn't. It was a cost effective for us too, and we have not had any complaints. And we have different ways that you can pay. Often that's what people were coming in late to do, is pay their bills, and we try very hard, I think like most municipalities, to make payment easy for people, so you can come in and pay and talk to the lovely Alexis or Caitlin. And we have a drop box in front of the building, which is available 24/7. We have several online options. Now, one of our online options is there is a convenience fee that the administrator, not the town, a third party, collects that fee. They set the rates. But if you need to make a credit card payment or, that's all through them. And the town does offer free ACH payments, which is what I personally use. So on the 20th, on
direct deposit or it's automatic
auto withdrawal. So on the 20th of every month, the town runs a file and my bill's paid, and it's always paid on time, and it's nice. A lot of people do that, and that's a free service. But then if you do it through the online service, they offer the same thing, but there's a fee involved. So we try. We do not take any payments over the phone. We can't. That's out of compliance with the credit card companies, and we again, we we do have to follow the rules and regulations in our department. So
absolutely. Well, you're all based on rules and regulations.
We are.
And I know that you get audited.
We do get audited. We do.
And you're not always sure what they're looking or what they're going to ask for.
No, a lot of it depends on the experience of the auditor. Some auditors come from an organization that had a problem with XYZ, so that's what they look for in the next few audits. Sometimes they're just young and they don't know what they're looking for, and other times they're very targeted. Thankfully, we've always had very good audits. We don't there's always one or two things that they bring to our attention, and you can go see our audit reports online. They're public documents. There's nothing to hide. But most of the time in an audit, if they find something, it's something we need to learn. It's a new change in the law that we weren't familiar with, which, those things, there's a lot of changes. And so, or they just want to tweak how things are done. So.
Now, you mentioned something right there that just jumped right in, that public papers, public information. Now, someone that wants to see some sort of document.
Yep.
What do? They don't just walk in and say, hey, I want to see this document, do they?
Well, they do, but we make them fill out a form because we are a government office. So there's a form for them to fill out. The form is also available online, and it's an access to public record request. And you fill out the form, and depending on how the form is delivered, we have certain periods of time that we have to respond that we've received your request. And then depending on the volume of the request, then we try and give the requestor a fair, we can have this to you in a day or two. This may take a week or so. I might be out of town, or I've got to shift it to a different department. They'll respond. But we do try to get those back to everybody in a reasonable time. And that's what we're allowed to do by the law. So if anyone ever does want to see something, a lot of our records, though, are online already, and it's just going to munster.org. There's a search bar, search for it. and they can find what they're looking for. So
I'm going to jump in here and we're at that point that if in case you have just joined us, you're here on WJOB and 1230 AM and 104.7 FM. My name is David Nellens. I'm the counselor from Ward 4, and I have our clerk treasurer with us, Ms. Wendy Miss, and she does a great job in the meeting. She calls for the vote when we're ready at that point. She prepares a lot of things. She also runs the open to the public section with respect to the timing.
Yeah.
We now have 2 minutes per speaker, and we allot 20 minutes for that segment.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been pretty busy in 2024, and that open to the public. They've had a lot to say. We've had a lot of interesting things going on in town, so it's good that you've got to, it's unfortunate people want to talk. And if you give them 3 minutes, they try and fill 3 minutes, but they really may only have a minute or two of content. Last night, we had a gentleman ask a question and brought something to our attention. It took him 45 seconds to do, and it was succinct. It was something that we can look into, and that's good. It's good.
And we want to be fair to speakers so that as many folks as possible can have an opportunity. Absolutely. Yet we have a meeting to conduct and we have business to do for the town, and some of my meetings last year when I served as president, I let them go. Yeah. And we were 45 minutes to an hour in public comment. And that's just really, and we heard the same thing over and over and over again. And, not to pick on that, but this way you get it condensed. As our clerk treasurer says here, you probably can say the most important thing, and you should ask for that first and have it there, and you get the most value if you're asking for what you want. You're serious on this and not fill it with a bunch of fluff. Does that sound?
It does. It does. So, our public comment is a lot more succinct than it used to be. So what else happened last night at the meeting?
Well, let's see.
I was pleased to see that we're going to apply again for a Safe Street for All grant. I think that's a nice grant. We applied for it 2 years ago. We did not get it. We did not apply last year, and now we're applying again in 2025. Grant applications are challenging, and there's a lot of work to them.
You got to have everything in line.
Yes.
All the details, and if you miss something,
exactly.
Disqualified.
Exactly. So there's a lot to do. So we're working this time with SEH on it, and they're our engineering, the town's engineering firm, and I'm excited, and I hope that comes through. I learned about an art grant that I'm sitting in, I think on Friday. Not this week, next week, a seminar about how to apply for a public art grant. And as the Munster Civic Foundation is considering making our electrical boxes look a lot more arty and beautiful, I think that grant might come in handy. So
that would help out a lot.
Yeah, but you got to go to a webinar. You got to sit down, learn how to do it. The art grants are usually much easier than a grant like the Safe Streets grant, but a lot less technical. That's the thing that hooks you in there. But
now, last night we did vote that I'm going to get a credit card.
No, you're not.
The town,
no, you're
and
not.
all the top executives are going to get credit cards. We're going to get to charge anything we want. And the bills are going to go to our clerk treasurer.
No. That's not what we voted on. We had one type of credit card. We switched last year, and we're having a few issues with it. So we're looking at a different style, a different brand of credit card that we're working on, and
now it's not going to be like S&H Green Stamps.
The town he works with the town manager's office. We keep, again, it's a really tight internal controls. Those bills that we do get for the credit card company, we watch them, we monitor them. Everybody must turn in a receipt. Once a month, I have a stack on my desk saying, hey, where's the receipt for this? And we review them, and then it goes to council, and council has an opportunity when they the part of the agenda, the consent agenda, there are vouchers on there, and the public can see it. The counselors review it every 2 weeks. We want you to look at that and say, what are you paying for? What is this expense? And so the credit card bill is one of those that comes through that voucher register, and you can see what the town's spending that for.
Someone can't just get away with and buy a bunch of stuff and buying it every month after month because you're reconciling it like immediately.
We watch it. Yes, we watch it very, very closely. There's only a few people that have access. There's 4 or 5 people that have access to a town credit card. We watch it very carefully, what those come through as with all the bills that come through.
And
there's multiple ways of keeping track of it. Yeah, expense. We don't.
I do have an expense account.
No.
Now I turn bills in if I go on a seminar or this
exactly.
or that, and I turn a bill in.
Yes, you do.
And if it's allowed, I'll get reimbursed. If it's not, nothing.
I get my red pen out and we put a big slash through it, and we're like, no, you exceeded your limit. We have limits on spending. We encourage staff and counselors and elected officials to attend training. It helps us all do better at our job. It helps us stay current on what the laws are. Most departments do go on various seminars and webinars. There is a per diem. We do give mileage reimbursement for if you take your personal car.
Did I hear that's now up to 70 cents?
70 cents.
Oh, my.
Yep.
Boy.
Yep. That was in the agenda last night as well. So it is, but we watch all that, and much to many people's dismay, if I see something that looks irregular, I do call and ask and explain why this charge was for this. And it's not singling any one person out or any department out. It's just I don't want to be caught on audit. I don't want to be on the front page of the paper over a $70 error or something like that.
And I know State Board of Accounts comes in, and there's
Yep.
certain things, certain departmental expenses are allowed, but if a department wants to order a birthday cake for the staff, it's
no.
not allowed.
It is not allowed. It doesn't seem fair, but it's taxpayer money, and we've got to be cautious on what we're spending.
So as a department
money.
head, if I want to buy a birthday cake and pay for it
exactly
out of your pocket,
Yep,
we can do that.
Yep, we do that, and we do
can
that.
have cake.
We can have cake then, and cookies then, and such. Often, my department Christmas party, I pay for the food, and then others will contribute to a dessert or beverages, or not like 7-Up or 2 liters.
Yeah,
or whatever.
but we don't use taxpayers' money
exactly
to do those things.
Exactly. We try and focus it on taxpayer money should be on the betterment for the town as a whole. So
I did want to bring up here, and Wendy and I talked about her department keeps track of the boards and commissions and their terms and who serves and all that. And some of the positions are politically balanced.
Yes, some of the commissions, boards and commissions, are politically balanced, such as the Board of Safety and the Plan Commission and the Park Board. So we've got to check, we got to call county. Can I have the vote? We're considering this person for a board position. Can you verify their voting record? County's good, and they'll share that information. And, we need to make sure it keeps things fair in the town.
Absolutely. And we do have applications available online.
Yep.
They can come to that front desk and ask for an application.
Yep.
And I encourage the residents to come in and fill out an application. Sure.
You might have some experience that we're unfamiliar with, and we'd love to have you, Now, to be honest, there aren't a lot of positions. We're regulated on how many roles, how many people can serve on each board, and people. It's just there aren't a lot of vacancies. We had 2 vacancies this year on the Board of Safety. We had one role that hadn't been filled, which we filled with a new man, Stephen Golumpke. I'm pronouncing that wrong. And he's a former captain, I believe, with another police department, so he'll be an excellent addition to our Board of Safety.
Right.
We reappointed Dr. Dershowitz, who was up again. And then on our park board, we had Mike Sowards had served for 10 years. He did a great job on the board. He was replaced this year with Jose Gutierrez, who is very excited. Tonight, in fact, will be his first board meeting, and he's very excited to serve and be a part of it. But it was a process of looking through all the applications. We do keep applications on file in the clerk treasurer's office for no less than 3 years. So if you filled one out 4 or 5 years ago, it's okay to come back in and fill one out again.
Another one. But again, it's good to have one on file. There are term limits or term expirations that have to be renewed, but sometimes something happens, maybe someone moves out of town, that position becomes open, and it could happen at any time.
Exactly.
So we want to have you prepared for that.
And what we've also done in the last few years, which is if you've shown an interest in a board and commission and there's no availability, we're also looking at filling roles on the citizen board of the Munster Civic Foundation, which is a separate organization, but it's also tied to the town. So the Civic Foundation is the group that puts on the fireworks every year. Again, not taxpayer money. That was a stipend or a gift that was given to us by Community Hospital many years ago, and we try and use the investment income to fund things. We the last couple of years, we started using Centennial Park a little more, and we were having concerts there on a regular basis. This year, we're going to have those concerts on a Tuesday night. So if you go on Monday night, there's not going to be any concerts there, but we're going to be on tunes on Tuesday. We're looking at the Civic Foundation is looking at doing the electrical box art throughout the town, and then we did a mailing last year at the end of the year, and we were asking for donations because it is separate, and the more funds we have, the more we can turn that back into part of the mission statement for the Civic Foundation is vibrant community, so we can turn that back into the vibrant community. So we're working on right now. I've got to get that thank you letter out. You'll get it soon. But yes,
and again, the Civic Foundation, I liken it to the regular town budget, and town expenses cover what I call the cake, the batter part of the cake, and the Civic Foundation puts icing on it from time to time.
Exactly.
When it can or it's appropriate. We have a budget with the Civic Foundation, so there's only so much money that's available each year. We have that money invested. We've got a coffee jar full of it, right?
No, we have it professionally managed, which is a very good thing. In one of our local banks, they manage it for us, and it's got a nice return, and we're pleased with how well it does, and it's good, and it's good for the community. It's very similar to what the schools have with the Munster Education Foundation.
Sure.
The schools are only able to fund so much stuff, and then the Munster Education Foundation, they come back and they raise extra money, and they turn it into special needs unique needs that a classroom or a school might need. So.
And I want to mention that our clerk treasurer does a great job investing the money. It doesn't just sit there in the coffee can. It's put to work. There's interest paid back, and very conservative.
It is.
But you also go out aggressively to find the most amount of
the highest rate of interest that we can get. Now you're talking town funds. We're restricted by law on what we can and can't do. So we can't have an E-Trade account or anything like that. We have to be safe stewards of the municipal funds, but we do have some flexibility, and we do watch interest rates. I shop them around with regularity. To make sure that we're, especially, that's a whole nother conversation for another day.
So
and I don't want to bore everybody, but yes,
we are
we try and stay on top of it. When we have to have debt, we look and take the lowest interest rates. So we're not, we're being fair. So
I want to wrap it up.
Yep.
Our clerk treasurer has a lot. There's a lot goes on in that department. And Wendy, if you have a closing statement you'd like to make.
I always hate closing statements. It's just a pleasure to work for the town of Munster. I'm glad to be a part of it. As always, if you have any questions or concerns, I strongly encourage you to either contact me. My number is 219-836-6945, or contact your counselor. We do have 5 ward counselors. They represent a ward, but they're also at large. So you can contact any of them.
We're responsible to all the residents in the town. And again, Wendy, I want to thank you for being on the show. We're going to have you on again.
Very good.
Because your department just covers so much. But again, stay warm today. It's a cold day, and we're happy to be here. You can see we're smiling. It's a nice, warm studio. So thank you very much. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you for having me today.
You've been listening to the Town of Munster podcasts, coming to you from the JED TV studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. Thank you for listening.